Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka Mono Bluetron, back again with another episode of 10-Minute Testing. So today we're playing a deck that I've played about a quadrillion times on Late Night Yu-Gi-Oh! So many times that it was on back when it was called Early Morning Yu-Gi-Oh! This build, however, is the cutest version of the deck I've devised yet, playing many bricky one-ofs, awful synergies, and just straight suboptimal cards in the interest of making awesome plays. Let's jump into Deck Edit and see what I've come up with. So here's the list. Now you can see almost immediately that there's some ridiculous noise going on here. Don't worry, as always, I'm going to give you a little bit of background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and as always, the card by card. So ABC, for those of you who don't know, is a deck that was classically powerful but removed from the format by two very unfortunate events, neither of which were a ban list. The first, which relegated it to a sad tier of nigh unplayability, was of course the release of Zodiac and the popularity of 60-card decks in the wake of the release of That Grass Looks Greener. These decks preyed on the sad and lonely ABC, whose previous best plays involved relying on a gadget or a photon thrasher staying on the field in order to make a Bugenti Tsukiyomi, then summoning an ABC by banishing the parts from the grave. The second was the implementation of Master Rule 4, since ABC was previously a very powerful rank 4 strategy, removing the ability for players to either make the linear setup play or multiple rank 4 Xyz monsters drove a stake into its heart. Now this deck attempts to breathe life into the old deck by relying on a very powerful opening hand, one copy of Orpheus Scorpio and one copy of Union Hanger. In order to facilitate this combo, which you'll see in action momentarily, we are playing a load of horseshit. Because there's a lot of redundancy in the deck, we are also playing the most hilarious things I could possibly imagine as well. Our combo goes like this. Normal summon an Orpheus Scorpio and special summon a Darlingtonia Cobra from deck. Grab either a Brilliant Fusion or a Future Fusion if you already have a Brilliant or you just want to lose the game. After that, overlay for MX Saber Invoker, normal summon a 1000 Blades from deck, then send both to graveyard for a Mrs. Radiant. After that, activate Brilliant Fusion, sending a Trick Clown and a Garnet, bring back Trick Clown and activate the Union Hanger for an A. Normal summon the A with your extra normal summon, then equip a B from deck, overlay with Clown into Tsukiyomi. After that, add a C to hand with B's effect, set whatever you want, activate Tsukiyomi's effect, and link Mrs. and Seraphonite together for Decode Talker. Finally, banish ABC from grave for ABC. Now, if any of that sounds confusing, it's easier when you see it, and if it sounds bad, then you're right. So, let's go card by card. First are the one-ofs. We have Garnet, Cyber Dragon, Dragonies for part of a set rotation package, Trick Clown, and 1000 Blades. Next are the ABC pieces. We're playing 2 of each of them, 2 A's, 2 B's, and 2 C's. After that are our plants. We have 3 copies of Orpheus Scorpio, 2 copies of Darlingtonia Cobra, and 3 copies of Lone Fire Blossom. That rounds out our monster lineup. After that are our terraformings and terraforming substitutes, 3 terraforming, 3 set rotation, and the payoff 3 Union Hanger. We're also playing one of Empowerment to do its best impression of a special summonable monster in cases of an extreme brick, and more likely in case we draw our next card, Gateway to Chaos. Still my field spell of choice for set rotation. It is unflippable because the effect is mandatory, and you can't set over it because of the wording on set rotation. Next are the 3 Brilliant Fusions and a Future Fusion. Our Future Fusion target is Chimera Tech Overdragon, and in the unlikely event we get it off, we can immediately make as many ABCs as we can possibly make with one extra monster zone. Next is Raigeki, which is pretty good, I hear. After that are 3 Solemns and 2-dimensional barriers. You want to have something you can set before Tsukiyomi goes off. In the extra, we have 3 copies of ABC, 1 copy of Chimera Tech Overdragon, 1 Seraphonite, then Utopias, Castel, Gagaga Samurai, Tornado Dragon, Tsukiyomi, Abyss Dweller, MX Saber Invoker, enabled by the Link Daddy Decode Talker and the Link Mommy Mrs. Radiant. So, with that, let's jump into the games. Our first match is up against some sort of Blackwing Obelisk Turbo. It's not a particularly exciting matchup, but it does a great job of showcasing the combo, which is why I've included it. You can see we've drawn into said combo. We have at least 1 Orpheus Scorpio. In fact, we have a Lone Fire and the Scorpio himself, as well as a Union Hanger, which will get us the second half of the cards we need for the combo. Never actually that bad to brick into multiple copies of Lone Fire, since we can just send the second one to use Orpheus Scorpio's effect. So we'll start by normal summoning this Lone Fire Blossom. There's still 1 in our deck, and we don't want to draw it off of Tsukiyomi, so we'll cycle through 2 of these bad boys into Orpheus Scorpio, use its effect to send Orpheus to get Darling Tonia Cobra, get ourselves a Brilliant Fusion, go into Invoker, use Invoker to get 1,000 Blades, Link summon Mrs. Radiant, then use Brilliant Fusion for Seraphonite, get back Trick Clown from grave, then activate Union Hanger to add an A to our hand, normal our A with our extra normal, equip a B from deck, overlay into Tsukiyomi, use B's effect to get a C, and unfortunately we have to send all 3 to the graveyard and minus ourselves because we didn't have any traps. It was all monsters. We end on a Decode Talker and an ABC. Now I know that Blackwing has a hard time competing with no Blackwing on their side of the field, so I'll banish it, then pour it out at end step, and I believe that is enough for our opponent to decide they no longer want to sit through this game. Our second match is up against Domain Monarchs, and it is a damn shame that these two decks never had the chance to hit each other at full power. Our opponent's going first, which is bad news for us, especially because they have not only a way to tribute summon a Monarch, but also the Domain lock. Thankfully, our hand is basically Erebus-proof. We have 2 different ways to get Orpheus Scorpio and 2 different ways to get Union Hanger, although if they shuffle this set rotation, we might be in for a rough game. They're going to start by activating Reinforcement of the Army to add a copy of Adia to their hand. Once Adia is normal summoned, they'll get Adios from deck, then use the effect of Domain of the True Monarchs to lower the cost of Erebus and tribute exclusively the Adios, so that when they send this Pantheism and this Prime Monarch, they can get the Pantheism back when Adia inevitably goes to the grave. They'll finish up by using Tenacity to get a March of the Monarchs, and it's our turn. We'll fire off this Festival Spinning, or set rotation, depending on where you're from, to get a Union Hanger. Then we'll start cycling through Lone Fires. I'm pretty excited to do this. He will special summon a Prime Monarch from graveyard, I think expecting to potentially get OTK'd. We'll go into an Orpheus Scorpio, use its effect to get a Darling Tonia Cobra, get ourselves a Brilliant Fusion, an Namek Saber Invoker, 1,000 Blades, a Mrs. Radiant, then we'll use the Brilliant Fusion for Seraphonite to get back Trick Clown, use our extra normal to normal summon A, equip the A with a B, overlay into Tsukiyomi, use B's effect to get C, use Tsukiyomi's effect to draw into some garbage that we're going to use to banish this copy of Adia so that he can't get the Pantheism back, and then run over the rest of his stuff. Our opponent does in fact have an out to the set card off of set rotation, but unfortunately when they tribute 4 Kuraz, they target both it and Decode Talker, so we can negate the effect. We can't destroy it because of the March of the Monarchs, but we can negate it, which is probably good enough. Because they can't attack this turn, they're just going to pass it back, and at end step we're going to banish this March of the Monarchs along with tagging out ABC Dragon Buster, just so we can plus off of adding something to one of our ABC pieces. After this occurs and he passes it back, he just concedes. Our last match is up against Dinos, my old nemesis. This is about the brickiest hand the deck can produce without actually drawing Garnet. You can see we don't have a way to get Orpheus Scorpio, but we can still probably make this work. We're going to start by activating Terraforming in order to get ourselves a Union Hanger. Then we'll use the Union Hanger to get an A, equip that A with a C, different route this time. Then we'll use Brilliant Fusion to get Seraphonite, get back Trick Clown, of course. Then use our normal summon for Darlington Cobra, then make Decode Talker. After that, we'll use A and C's effect, C to special summon B from hand, and A to add C back. We'll set Regeki and then use Bujenti Tsukiyomi to discard our hand and special summon ABC. Somehow we've made the play anyway. Our opponent's going to start with a Fossil Dig, then use Lithogasm to destroy a Petit Pterodon for a Dagoran. I'm not particularly scared till he activates Fossil Dig, and I figure I probably don't want to let that happen. Unfortunately, the last card in his hand is Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, and scared for my ABC's life, I tag it out, which unfortunately is going to kill us. I hadn't considered the 1,000 damage we took when we activated Trick Clown. Unfortunately, using your life points as a resource does have impacts, especially when there are decks like Dinosaur in the format. I realize he's going to kill me. I let him cheese a little more by attacking my 1,000 Blades, and we lose. So we're back with the deck. Oh boy. Hard to talk about this one. It's sort of like killing your baby. I really, really like the deck. It feels powerful, and it plays like a very consistent pre-Dead Drake ABC list should, but when you draw a Garnet, the deck is just dead in the water. I almost want to recommend playing Enchanted Hammer alongside moving things like Cobra and the Field Spell Garnet to 1. I tried it out, and it wasn't awful, since your hand advantage stops mattering after you Tsukiyomi anyway. It's just ABC is caught in this weird place where I want to play more traps so I can plus off Suk. Really, I do, but traps are just so bad right now. It feels like any game where you win the die roll, you're going to be massively ahead anyway, so why plan to win more, and why expect that the thing that's going to put you over the edge against, like, True Draco is a third copy of Dimensional Barrier? The deck desperately needs hand traps, but there's just so much negative synergy with Tsukiyomi that it's almost impossible to justify. Once we solve this final ABC conundrum, I honestly believe the deck's going to be powerful, but until then, it's probably just more fun to pray for the magical Christmas land where you get to make Overdragon. So that's that. Thank you for indulging me by watching a list that's going to be outdated in 2 weeks when Konami preemptively hits Union Hanger based off OCG results. If you want to see me play the decks I make on this show on stream, I'm on twitch.tv/monobluetron every Monday and Thursday from 10 to midnight Eastern Standard Time, links in the description, and if you have an idea for a certain deck or archetype you want to see me play, let me know in the comments section below and I'll try to get to it. Otherwise, I'll see you Sunday.